That's the last one. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the transportation meeting of March 9th, 2023. Ms. Secretary, let it be known that Ms. Terry and Mr. John are absent. Mr. Robert, would you lead us in the invocation followed by the pledge?
God, thank you for another beautiful day in Ascension Parish. Thank you for the opportunity to do the people's work to help move this parish forward. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, number 3, we under the chairman's report, a couple of weeks ago, we had some exciting news about the roundabout at Highway 42 in Joseph area. It was a very, very good meeting at the Oak Grove Community Center. If the committee doesn't mind, I'd like to just give a little brief update, and I'll have Joy come up and let y'all know what stages and different things are going on. Please, Joy.
Yeah, it was pretty well attended. You know, DOTD was there, and they did have a lot of people in the community in that subdivision right at the intersection. This project is in the very earliest stage. They call it stage 0, so there's still, you know, the plans to be made and, you know, determine what properties are going to be purchased and not purchased, but, you know, a portion that it takes to build that roundabout. It does require a cooperative endeavor with the parish. The only thing that the parish's involvement is that it's going to be on Joe Severio Road, so we technically are part of a cooperative endeavor for it, but we're spending no money. That's strictly a DOTD project, but there may be at times, and that was understood with this project, that it may be closed at that intersection, so there may be some detouring during the construction, but I'm sure a lot of people know that that is a dangerous intersection, and the project's been in the works for a very long time, and I think it'll be a great project.
Thank you so much, Mr. Turo. And if you don't mind, I had one speaker, Mr. Tony Lawson, was also at the meeting and brought a lot of good information in.
I'm Tony Lawson. I live in Greenfield Crossing, which just up Joe Severio from. We go out to the Highway 42 turn virtually every day. I'm a real estate appraiser, so I'm in and out. So I'm there numerous times a day, and it is a tremendously dangerous intersection. I attended the meeting. Everything looks very good, and I'm in full support.
Appreciate you. Any comments, anything on?
Glad it's getting done.
Appreciate y'all, appreciate the time. Anyone want to speak on any agenda item, please sign in with Ms. Darlene. Number 5, the general business, the acceptance of the minutes for January 10th as written.
Make a motion.
Moved by Mr. Robert, second by Mr. Lawler. B, the department report, Mr. Joy.
The DOTD projects that are ongoing, LA 44 at 941, which is where the roundabout will go, that the utility relocations are still ongoing for that intersection, so there's still no construction as of yet, but they say that is progressing well. It just takes a long time to move utilities in that location. LA 74 still has a lot of work going on. I did get a message from Kansas City Railroad that they will have a full road closure tomorrow at 9 o'clock, from 9 until 2 o'clock, to do some maintenance on that railroad crossing. So along with the work on LA 74, they're going to actually close that railroad crossing tomorrow. As far as the construction, they've been working on the driveways. They've done that quite a bit lately. There's tons of driveways there. The parish is also, in fact, my department, my transportation people are going to improve the turnouts on KC Road and Babin Road. In fact, we have we laid the pipe at those locations this past week, and actually Saturday we have a contractor who's going to build a catch basin on Babin Road to where that turnout, to where people from Babin Road taking a right on LA 74, that turnout will be much nicer once the project's all done. And we're whenever we can, we try to get it done before that contractor finishes, so that maybe they can do some of the work of creating that turnout as opposed to the parish doing all that work. So that's the goal, is to get that one completed, and to also the right turn from KC Road taking a right onto LA 74. We're going to try to get that one done. Gold Place Road is I think essentially all complete as far as the project. That is LA 934, but once it's completed, it will not be a state route, it'll be a parish road, so we'll start calling that Gold Place Road, which is a lot of locals, including me, I'll call that today. One of the first things that we, the parish, are going to do is address the trees that are a hazard for people coming out of the Cypress Gold subdivision. That's been a hazard for quite a while. We would do it today, but we actually don't own the road yet. As soon as we get ownership of the road, we're going to take some of those trees out to where the visibility is improved. We have had some accidents there in the past and even recently, so that'll be first on our list whenever we take ownership of that road. LA1 in Donaldsonville from 3089 to the Iberville Parish line is ongoing. Barber Brothers is the contractor. They've done, I think they've completed the patching. They will soon, if not started already, milling, and then they'll overlay the road once that's done. LA18, that was another one that DOTD is doing. That's from the Sunshine Bridge to LA 3120. That one's essentially complete. It has rumble strips on the center line and the edge line, so it's a good safety improvement. The other road that it's called the Ascension Parish Overlay Project. It's one in which Jeff Burse was instrumental in getting some federal funding for that project. It's under construction now. A lot of the patching has been completed on those roads, but generally after you patch a roadway, you generally have a lull. You wait for the traffic to run over those patches and let them settle before you continue construction. This project is strictly a pavement improvement project. So once the patching is done, they're going to mill off the top lift of asphalt and put brand new asphalt, new and smooth pavement on those 8 roadways. And they include Causey Road, Church Point Road from Airline to Roddy, Lemonville Cutoff from the prison to LA 18, which is River Road, Merritt Evans Road, South Philippi Road, Post Office Road from LA 73 to Airline, South Prepara Road from LA 30 to Airline, and Tebow Road. We had a utility meeting earlier this morning, and Reno Johnson of DOTD was in attendance, and what's neat about that is he gives me an update on upcoming DOTD projects. Those include the LA 30 roundabouts that's on either side of I-10. That's scheduled to be let this month, later this month. If it hasn't been let, it was let yesterday. So I knew it was in March, but a lot of times lettings are at the end of the month, but that was actually let. So that's going to be a big project. It's going to create 3 roundabouts in that area. The Manchac Acres at H.H. Wilson project is to replace bridges with some box culverts. There's a little more prep work, but in the next month or two, that project should happen. It should be put out for bid. I'm going to skip the Move Ascension projects. I'll let Jeff comment on those. Airline Highway from LA 74 to LA 42 is scheduled to be let in September. The LA 431 bridges over Lake Velar and the next bridge to the north. Those 2 bridges will be under the same project. That is scheduled to be let in October. Whenever that one happens, that one's going to be a total road closure. So that one's going to be, it's going to take some detouring to get that one done. Another project is LA 30 from Veterans Boulevard to Airline Highway. That's to improve the pavement, a mill and overlay type project. Later this year, actually the latter part of this year, there'll be a project on LA 431 to create turn lanes to LA 621. And that's also Harry Salwar Road is on the other side of that intersection. Another project is LA 945, locally called Hospital Road, from LA 3089 to LA 308. And then also in December, or scheduled for December, so latter part of this year or early next year, they're going to mill and overlay Bluff Road. So that's kind of the DOTD report. The current Move Ascension projects and their status, the Germany at Airline Highway project is very close to being finished. All of the asphalt is completed on it. What's left to be done is the striping. They have to cut loops in the pavement, and the loops are there to give information to the traffic signals so that it knows when to change or how to extend, your green time and all that. So those 2 big items, striping, traffic signal loops, and then the final dressing, and so they're very close to getting that intersection fully functional. Let's see, Henry Road clearing and grubbing, that's been finished for a while. The Church Point at Roddy roundabout, that project was put out for bid yesterday. Of course, that still has to go for finance and council approval, but that's going to be an exciting project on Church Point and Roddy. Parker and 929 has been let for bid quite a bit. That'll come up at the next approval of that bid will come up for the next finance and council meetings for approval. So that one actually should have construction started maybe within 2 months. The parish is also going to improve the crossing of where Black Bayou crosses Highway 929 twice, because it actually crosses north of Parker and it crosses again south of Parker. Those two pipe locations are going to be replaced by box culverts, and all of that work is going to be done by parish forces. The intersection of 929 and 930, that location, that's going to be a roundabout. That's another Move Ascension roundabout location. The clearing has been done. A lot of the utilities have completed. As soon as the utilities do get finally completed, that one will be put out for bid. You know, it's very close to being ready. We're just hoping we can get our utility friends to finish up on that one. But a lot of the utilities have completed that. We just have a couple hanging out there. The same can be said for the Germany at Bro Road roundabout. We're just waiting for utilities to get finished out there. That's another Move Ascension roundabout that could go out for bid very soon. Bro and 929, we just finished a week or so ago the clearing on that one and moved the fences back and got that one ready. So we do have our utility guys very busy going from roundabout to roundabout to roundabout. I guess the unfortunate thing that you know, the reason why we put pressure on them is they do get the ball rolling now. We putting all the pressure on them now. As soon as they get that done, those projects can be let out for bid. I did talk to the consultant, Bill King, who's the representative for the, it is called the IIJA, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act program. That's the program that will replace bridges for us. I had reported earlier I had to make a call on which bridges to be replaced, and they generally were the ones that were worse on the list of the bridges in the parish, and these are just off-system bridges. So the two bridges are already picked out. There's not been a lot of movement on it, he said lately, but the plan is to let one of the projects later this year and the second bridge middle of next year. So these are supposed to be fast-tracked, and I'm told that, but from the last time we had the meeting to this time, there's been very little movement, but that's still in the works. Those projects require no parish money. We just give them input, but they take it from there. Our parish personnel, as always, they always have something to do every day. I give you this report of the paving report and the patchwork and the signs that are put up. But just from that report, you can see that the sign guys do something every day. They put signs up just about every day. We are constantly ordering signs, and you can see from that report just in February, gosh, there must be 40, 50 signs that they put up just this past month. So that's an ongoing thing. Signs get knocked down. Sometimes it's sometimes they get taken. But certainly stop signs, they jump on it right away. These other signs, it's just that's just their routine. They're just constantly doing that. The 2023 road reconstruction project is up for bid. We had a mandatory pre-bid meeting. We're gonna be accepting bids on March 14th, which is Tuesday of next week. That is our opportunity with a $3 million budget to do rehabilitation of roads in the parish. And This year, or this package, we are going to concentrate on asphalt roadways. So it'll be a lot of patch mill and overlay of roads, or total rehabilitation, which means cut and saw cement. That's what we're going to concentrate on for this package. I plan on using the majority of it. It's not going to be a lot of drainage improvement. We will just do drainage improvements on the cross drains as needed. But if it's not needed, we won't. We want to put the money towards the road improvement. I do have a contractor. We have a couple of bridges that have some piling issues, so they're going to be, in about 2 weeks, they're going to be doing some repair on a couple of bridges in the parish, and it's just, every 2 years, and if the bridge is worn a bit, they come more often, but DOTD looks at these off-system bridges, and they give us a report. So from that report, if we see or if they recognize some concerns, well, then we need to address it, or otherwise we might be in violation of that off-system bridge program, where they generally contribute about 80% of the repairs of those bridges or replacements of those bridges. That program is generally a replacement. We'd make repairs as needed, but whenever a bridge gets in, worse shape, it goes for total replacement as part of the off-system program. So that's going to be going on hopefully in about 2 weeks. I know that I've gotten a lot of complaints over time, and certainly recently we had a water issue in Pelican Point, and it at Tezcuco. And, it made it in horrible shape, because that base course there is very sensitive to water. So the base course is now at that specific location is terrible. So starting Monday, we're going to do some patching in Pelican Point and address that one with a full depth patch, and also address some others in the area. I do also have a contractor. I don't have that lined up yet, but it's to do some catch basin repairs. I know there's gobs of them that are in bad shape, but all we can do is just do them, one at a time. So that's in the works also. Okay, I think I'm done.
You all right, Jim? We'll start with Mr. Robert. Do you have any questions for the report?
Yeah, I do. I got a question on St. Landry Road, the one that we just recently overlaid and redid, the whole road.
Yes.
Do we have any plans to do anything else on that?
Yes, we're going to stripe it.
Do we have any
part of this
plans
road,
to do anything else to the actual road, though?
You mean as far as widening it, or?
No. The majority of the road is great, but if you're riding down that road, once you get, and we can go ride one day and I can show you the specific spots I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But I mean, just the way that the road, the way your truck or any truck is going to move with the road in some of these spots, mm-hmm. I mean, I guarantee you within a year you're going to have wear and potholes in those spots if it's not addressed in some way, even if we can just mill it a little bit. Or I know they put that grinding wheel in the front of some of the excavators and stuff to kind of
yeah, we could look at it.
Yeah,
see what
just because it's such a good job, and I'd hate to see it.
Yeah,
because you have a lot of trucks go down there also, so
right.
You have a lot of weight going on there.
The part in the back, we did a total rehabilitation on it because it was really torn up during Ida. They had a lot of heavy loaded trucks, and they really beat up that part in the back. So it was
the
totally redone. And we actually got some funding for that.
The main spots I'm talking about are your cross drains, kind of where you're coming out of Lamar Dixon out the main entrance, and then a couple spots past that.
Okay.
It's not major, but like I said, I mean, you know how it is. Once you hit a few of those like that, it just starts, and the way those trucks just make it continue down the road.
Okay.
Also, I don't see it on the report, but the Ernest Floyd over there connects Brittany Tower Road to Highway 22.
Yes.
When we did some work over there and looks like a lot of patchwork on that road. We're going to go back to that road, I'm assuming?
I don't know if generally we can do that one with our own forces. That one doesn't require a total rehab. That road is so low, we really just need to keep raising that road at any opportunity because the surrounding area is swamp.
Well, it's not only that on that road, and I mean, I travel that road daily. You have your dump right down the road, and all of your garbage trucks. Take Ernest Floyd coming from Gonzales, load it. And they have a weight limit sign at the front of that road. So I'd like to revisit that to make sure it's enforced or make sure it's even adequate to the weight of these loaded trucks. Because if you look, it's the right lane going toward the dump, going toward Highway 22, that's bad. It's always night and day difference between going from 22 toward Brittany Tower. And same thing, y'all did a lot of overlaying there. I mean, it covered a lot of road, a lot of length.
Right.
But if we don't go over there and we don't do you can't go even close to the speed limit on it without over that big section. So, that won't last at all, especially like you're saying, the load line areas. But it's good to see the improvements. I think y'all are doing great. Just those couple little areas I'd like to look at before it gets to,
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Law.
Yes, sir.
Just kind of touching on something from the last meeting, Jefferson Oaks, Oaks Alley, Quail Creek, and Manchac Harbor. Where do we look on those? Are we moving forward on those?
Those, because of the, ordinance, the part that was approved by council, that's going to be part of the road package.
Okay.
The 2023 road package.
That's all part of that. Okay, good.
Correct.
How are we looking on, that's going to be going out to bid, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think you said that
Tuesday,
before.
the bids will come in.
Yeah.
So, a determination, the low bidder will be presented to the finance committee and then to council for approval. So, that's 3 or 4 weeks of time there. And, then we'll have a meeting with the contractor, and he may need some time to mow, not to mow, but to just get his material ready and all that. So once we have that meeting, we can see, hopefully they're ready to go, right off the bat. But we give them a little time just to get geared up.
Okay, good. Well, hopefully there'll be no shenanigans with the bids like we've had the past.
Right.
Yeah. Good
Right.
job, Joey. Thank you, man.
That's what I'm shooting for. Thank you.
I like this shirt, by the way.
Thanks.
Very good. Joey, appreciate the report. Also, I need to add the 2 bridges that we're gonna take care of in 2 weeks. One of them is Joseph Aerial at Henderson Bayou.
Henderson Bayou, and
What's
the
the
other one is Henderson Bayou at Henderson Bayou. Henderson Bayou Road Bridge at Henderson Bayou.
I know you're getting as many calls, and I'm getting, the school boards are having to take different routes to get to the schools.
Right, so we're gonna try to beat it to where we don't have to put a load restriction on it. We have a contractor ready to go. I say that, it's probably gonna be a week or 2 before he goes out there, but it's not a long process. They're generally, doing work under, whenever they do that work. They may need to not have traffic on it, but we do know the school is there, and we're going to try our best to not hinder the school traffic as much as possible.
Yeah, you can get me out of trouble with
Yep.
my wife, man. Appreciate that.
Gotcha.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Robert.
The Pelican Point off of Tescuco Drive, that's a site that I went to, we talked about Friday last week.
Yes,
Okay, and they'll be out there Monday?
Monday.
Okay, if
Have a
you
crew
could
doing
holler at
patching.
me when they go out there, I'd like to go out there and check it out.
Pardon?
I said, are you gonna make it out there?
No, I actually have an inspector. I'm going to be at a conference during that time, but I have an inspector it's going to be our crews that's going to be out there. We're going to be doing the work, so I'll give you a contact
Great.
for the foreman that's going to be running that crew.
Thank you, John.
You finished, Joe?
Yes.
All right, we good. We'll go on to C, H&TB, Move Ascension. Mr. Jeff? Getting something.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. I'd like to give you an update just on where we are with the Move Ascension program as it stands now and looking forward into the future of what we're looking to do up next. You know, the first thing we have is some just ongoing activities where we're helping manage the new 17 different design firms and getting them under contract and issuing new task orders so we can begin working on some of these projects that we were fortunate enough to get some federal dollars on, but we have to provide the pre-construction effort on that. So we're tracking those program financials as well, and actually just submitted last week a raised grant application to the U.S. DOT on behalf of the parish for $25 million to help go towards funding for the LA 3127 extension on the West Bank. We're continuing with our pre-construction management, which is design oversight, the environmental core permitting, acquiring the right-of-way, coordinating with the utility companies to move, coordinating with a lot of different agencies, the MPO, DOTD, and some of the other regulatory agencies like federal highways and agencies like that. Construction, we have a couple projects under construction now, so we're looking at procurement support, actual inspection services, for example, on the 8 overlay projects that Joey mentioned, and just overall construction admin, and of course, outreach to the public. As I had mentioned to the chairman before we started here, DOT now has an EDSM that whenever we go and construct and begin design of a roundabout, or if it has federal dollars, that we will do a public meeting. So we will start doing a lot of public meetings, not just for the roundabouts, but for a lot of the other Move Ascension projects here moving forward. And so really want to engage the public, to let them know what they can expect. Similar to the Joe Severio and 42 roundabout public meeting that the state held, we will hold a lot of those as well, where we'll have some of the design teams there with some graphics and layouts to kind of go over that with the public with any questions they may have. We'll have a right-of-way station so people can ask questions of what they can expect, when can they expect to be contacted, and how does the process work, and things like that, to just kind of answer their questions, keep them informed so that there's no surprises. Okay, looking at all of our capital projects, we've completed quite a bit, but you can see there on the left side that we have quite a few under design currently. You'll notice the double asterisk on 3 of them at the bottom, and that is a cost share with the City of Gonzales. Those what we call the US 61 Super Street projects that DOTD actually did the traffic analysis and completed the stage 0, and we're moving forward, and we were able to get a MPO federal block grant for $10 million to go towards the construction of these 5 separate standalone Super Street projects. You can see the projects under construction now. Joey mentioned that the 61 Germany intersection is just wrapping up. We have the 929 Parker roundabout was let by DOTD. They took bids, and we're waiting just now to get under contract with the contractor so that we can set up a pre-construction meeting and go over that and start establishing when they're going to start and some of the parameters of that. And again, the 8 roadways that will be overlaid as part of the one of the federal grants we were able to get. Joey touched on a lot of these up next for construction. You can see that Roding Church Point was let. They took bids yesterday. An overlay of the entire length of 929 from 61 to 42. With the exception, we're accepting out the areas where we're putting 3 roundabouts, obviously, and then from Parker on 929 north to 42, we're under design to 3-lane that, and so that's going to be accepted as well. But bids will be taken on that project on May 10th. As well as the off-system bridges that Joey mentioned at Manchac Acres and H.H. Wilson. Those will be taking bids on that on March 10th as well. Joey mentioned the left turn lane. That was a concern of Councilman Melanson's in previous meetings, where they're going to install a left turn lane on Highway 431 turning onto Highway 621. And they're taking bids at the end of the year on that project. So you can see the entire list of projects we talked about, all the roundabouts, the new Bluff Connector Road, Highway 930's on there, Henry, and of course Roddy, round out the list of projects next up for construction. A lot of them are far along in design. Some of them are, we're in right-of-way acquisition process now. Some of them are, as Joey mentioned, several of the roundabouts are ready to go once the utilities are relocated. And that is going to be the critical path on most of these roundabouts. Continuing on with capital projects that some of these we were able to secure some federal dollars on, not all of these, but these are the ones up next that we're assigning to the new 17 different design firms. And you can kind of see the list right there, several more roundabouts. We're going to look at enough design on 73 from Cornerview to 74, just to be able to preserve the corridor from a right-of-way acquisition standpoint. Several more roundabouts, super street projects. The US 61 median opening improvements that we did the traffic analysis that I reported on in January. We'll assign that one so the design on that can begin. And again, we mentioned the traffic analyses that will be done at 3 separate intersections along 431. 621 was on this list but was removed because DOT's already designed it and will take bids on it. So it'll be 431 at Church Point, at Bayou Narcisse, which is 935, and also at 931. So we'll be moving on those projects. I wanted to kind of highlight, we talk a lot about a lot of spot projects along the Highway 73 corridor. So I just want to kind of highlight how that all fits in together. As you can see, I have a snippet from a Google Map file that we laid out some of the projects graphically. And so you can kind of see improvements that are either currently under design or about to begin. Starting with the north side of I-10, DOT is actually designing in-house the 621 realignment to move it north further away from I-10, where the 621-73 intersection will be. We are almost finished design. We're at 95% final design with the Bluff Road connector from 73 to Bluff. We're actually acquiring right-of-way as we speak. We're also under design for a roundabout on 73 at that Bluff Connector tie-in. We're about to assign a project. We're waiting to get some federal dollars to look at the design of a roundabout at 73 and 74. We're currently under design, 73 Cornerview roundabout. And again, the right-of-way preservation between those two is a project that will be getting started here very shortly. Then what are we going to do between those roundabouts? Eventually, the idea is to preserve the corridor for right-of-way and then 4-lane it. Well, this past year, we submitted along Highway 73 2 projects for capital outlay House Bill 2 money, and you can see them listed there, one for the 4-laning between the 2 roundabouts I just mentioned, and then another roundabout down where it ties in at Highway 30. I want to kind of just bring up at the January meeting, it was mentioned that it would be appreciated to kind of give periodic updates on the financials of the program. So here I look at a chart and a table that shows how the program is funded. You know, where do we stand as far as what's been funded? That's how it's been funded. Now, we've spent a portion of that. Obviously, the program's been ongoing now for several years. But it started out with $10 million in construction fund reserves when they went out with a $25 million bond sale. So it started off as a $35 million program, but as it's evolved, we've been fortunate enough to go out and get over $36 million in federal funds from various grants through the MPO and the block grant program, and other projects as well. 12.1 has been allocated to the Move Ascension program from the traffic impact fee program. 10 million from the pot of COVID relief monies that the parish received was approved to be transferred to Move Ascension by the council, and we were able to get $2 million in state safety money. So for almost $95.5 million, we've been fortunate enough to grow the program over the last several years. And then you can kind of see just from the chart on the right, just kind of the percentage of that allocation. Now, phase specific, I want to see, all right, you know, what program costs have we, you know, had over the course of the last several years, broken out by phase. You can see construction has taken the lead over the pre-construction design phases. And as we get these 5 roundabouts under construction and let, as well as the Bluff Connector this year, that gap will only increase. You can see the right-of-way acquisition, just a little over $5 million, utilities, inspection, materials, testing, and environmental mitigation, which is very reasonable, small amount for all of the core permits that we've been able to receive for these projects. And then, of course, on the right, yet again, you see the chart with the percent breakdown per phase of how those funds have been allocated thus far. And, well, I can go back to any slide you like, but I'm happy to answer any of the questions you may have.
Start off with Mr. Aaron.
No, I don't have any questions. It's looking good. Moving right direction. Just keep it going.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Joe.
Ditto. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Jeff, the money's there. We need the turn lanes and the roundabout to start, and I think it's fixing to happen, so anything that we can do to help move anything along, let's please bring it forward.
Yes, sir, I will.
Thank you for your update.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to D, to discussion or approval of a portion of W. Millet or Miet Lane. Mr. Joy?
This really was Jerome Fournier and Eric Poche had worked with the property owner here. They want to build a house, is what I was told, on their property. The parish has a portion. I did give you a picture of the location where you see a very narrow road that the parish owns, and it goes up to a brick building to the right where I'm told they want to tear that building down and build a house in the back of it, so they want to take ownership of the road and that property.
I'll make a motion for the approval of Million Lane to be abandoned.
Moved by Mr. Joe,
Yeah, I'll second that.
second by Mr. Aaron.
I'm looking at the letter from Poche. Is there something to do, though, with Grand Market, Grand Market, fair market value in this?
Yeah,
Is that what we're asking for?
do you have the email
Yes.
also where we did come up with a dollar figure, and they agreed to pay that money?
Do we have to approve that amount? Is that what your motion is?
Yeah, I'll include that amount in the motion. That's approved at the
Okay.
fair market
Okay.
value.
Yeah, that's perfect.
We have a motion and a second. Any opposition? Not. Motion passed, and we'll let Mr. Jameson come up. You got something,
Jameson Dory, I'm the owner of the property that is trying to be purchased. I thank y'all for letting me purchase it back. My only question is the having to buy 20 foot of right of way when it's a 9-foot road. That was my only question, is why am I having to pay for 20 foot of it when it's only 9 foot wide?
That's how much we own.
we own 20 foot?
If you actually look down the street, there is 2 houses and a wood shop that is within that 10 feet of it. So you're owning 20 foot, but you couldn't own those houses because those houses were there before the street was done. So that's why I'm trying to figure out why I'm having to do 20 feet when it's only a 9 foot, and before it was paved, it was only a 5 foot dirt road.
I got you. I think this Mr. James, this most probably something we need to get back with our legal and, also our surveyors, to see exactly what,
Yeah, because that's my
what
only.
the amount of.
I have
footage
no
is.
problem with paying for it as it is. I'm just wondering why it's the 20-foot rather than 9-foot, because I'm not in a subdivision where there's a double wide road. If it was double lane, I would have no issue. My only question is why do I got a 20-foot when it's only a 9-foot wide road?
Thank you. Mr. Robey.
And the only thing I would suggest could have happened is the house is actually built or is on the right-of-way where they do own the property. And technically, what type of right-of-way is it? It's for the parish that we have? Is it
I
right-of-way
don't know if it's
to
just-
easement or is it right-of-way?
And back in the 80s, it was a 5-foot road passageway. It wasn't even the city, the parishes.
The passageway?
They took it over in the late 80s, not sure why or who gave it up. But the 10-foot of the right-of-way is on my father-in-law's property. And on his property, there's 2 houses and a wood shop.
Yeah, and I guess that's all I was saying, is a lot of times, and this is something that's common, is they will have structures in right-of-way, and if it ever came down to it, which a lot of times it does, that structure would have to be demolished or moved. But we'll have the legal look into it and see if that was, and obviously that's not the case for y'all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's how it could have been built there, because it could actually be built on right-of-way.
It was not a right-of-way when they were built. It was, the house was there, all 3 houses or structures were there 15, 20 years before the parish took over.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something legal can look at, but I mean, they can buy right-of-way anywhere, you know?
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Joe, you have that?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's good advice, just to give it legal on it. I think it'd be good for him to do that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anything else on this, committee? Not, we'll move on to number 6.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Aaron, second by Mr. Joe. We adjourn.